Yeah, my wonderful people, viewers and subscribers, I welcome you all to another episode of the Biafran Must Survive. So we are going straight to the reason why we are here. I'm reading from the platform of Simon EKPA Njoko. Well, as a matter of fact, this is a reposted post from George Oha Don Makati, according to what I saw here. But the whole issue is still boils down to the insecurity in the southeast, because they have sold this narrative to the general public, including the international community, that the insecurity in the southeast is being caused by Simon EKPA, and also it's being caused by youths, and also ESN, Biafra Liberation Army, and so on and so forth. But that is a typical lie. I mean, that is a lie from the pit of hell. All that is happening in the southeast today, I can tell you that Nigerian government have hands in it. And that is why we are in the media space trying to correct all these impressions, because they have said this or they have told this propaganda for a very long time. But now is the right time for we to debunk all these rumors. Don't forget what do they call it? Unknown gunmen have been deployed to the southeastern part of the country by the Nigerian government. Prison break that happens in Imo State are being orchestrated by government of Buhari and hopeless youth of danger. Then tell me, why must they come out and begin to lie to the general public that the insecurity is being caused by Simon EKPA or IPOP or Igbo youths? It is never so. We are here to debunk those rumors. Anyway, this our brother now make a very, very vital comment. In fact, Simon EKPA have trained this guy very well. He is here to represent the Biafrans in totality. He is not representing himself, neither is he representing the state or local government or the village where he came from, or to represent his society, but he is here to represent the generality of Igbos and the Biafrans. So please, I would like you to give me your listening ear. It might not be a short video as usual, but this one now is something that, while you start to watch it, I urge you to complete watching this video from beginning to the end. You will never regret the data you spend on watching this. In fact, you are going to thank me later for bringing this news to your doorstep. The news is many, and I'm going to read all. There's not any time for me to start to read comments. No, but I'm going to take all the whole news that this guy wasted his time or invested his time to bring to the general public. Oh yeah, let us go there. Please like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe. That's the only thing you can pay me. Just subscribe, share, like, and comment. That is the price you have to pay for watching. The whole narrative that the insecurity in the southeast Nigeria is caused solely by Simon EKPA, IPOB, or Igbo youths who are intent on destabilizing their region is one of the many Igbophobic sentiments that the average Nigerian shares, and are true. These repeated viewpoints are being echoed through journalists, social media propaganda, and many other forms, and my instincts tell me that many are engaging in this form of information dissemination to, in turn, deny the Southeast of any form of political seat on the federal level, lower its participation in the internal affairs of the country, and other unimaginable consequences that we all might arise. I can see beyond these talking points to know the hidden agenda behind them. Let's dig deep into the propaganda fueling this and analyze the actual problem with supporting data, and then we will compare and contrast it to the insecurity in other regions, which might be surprising to some of you. Lastly, we will proffer possible solutions to this. Stay tuned to the end. Please do not comment with irrelevant and anecdotes, non-squatter comments, or gaslighting. I want to engage sane minds who are capable of critical reasoning. Also, keep eye service out of this. If you want to comment, let it come from your heart. Here is the second, let me call it stanza 2 of that message. Firstly, let's take a deep look at the insecurity in the southeast and its possible origins. Conspiracy theories aside, one of the major problems plaguing the southeast region has been a preponderance of kidnappings of both prominent men and regular civilians. If one insists that this is a newer problem than an old recycled issue, then it can be said that they lack awareness of oblivious to the truth or are plainly being dubious. C. Kidnapping rings have long been present with many politicians and notable men of being at the center of it since the late 1980s and early 1990s. I will use the Otokoto riots as an example. When Otokoto, a local hotel owner, was found to have been kidnapping people through a cult group run by his son since the late 1980s and was a major distributor of human organs to politicians, pastors, individuals from all over Nigeria and from all walks of life. In the dark world, Igbo organs are hot cake, but that's topic for another day. It was uncovered that several politicians are also engaged in kidnappings by contracting several cult groups, police, and even the Nigerian army in order to raise funds for their political biddings and other ambitions. The Otokoto riot somewhat had put a halt to the kidnapping crisis in the southeast region. It wasn't until the late 2000s that this issue had resurfaced in the region when the previous governor of Imo State had been said to have used assassins to operate and eliminate his political rivals. Rochas, alongside his partner in crime, Senator Ben Owajimogu, ravaged the state and region with their nefarious activities and extrajudicial killings. Linked to all articles will be shared in no time. Moving forward, it is very imperative to also know that a plethora of other kidnapping groups and kingpins arose with the resurgence and lucrative businesses of kidnapping in the southeast region around this period. Many Nigerians now are familiar with Evans, one of the most notorious kidnapping kingpins that arose from this era. These groups operated with impunity. They would also often disguise as security operatives like the police or DSS, security men at commercial or private buildings, and anything that made them incognito. Moving forward, clearly, this is not an IPOB or Simon EKPA or BG issue, nor is it callous and malicious. Igbo youth choosing to be reckless. It is intentional. It has long been there. Furthermore, the Southeast has also seen an uptick in other crimes like police brutality that often involve the death of motorists and civilians. This problem, just like kidnapping, has also existed since time immemorial. One of the major reasons why the eastern region wanted secession from Nigeria during the 1960s was the over-policing of its residents, with roadblocks often set up within blocks of each other for the extortion of residents. These roadblocks were said to have generated hundreds of millions to billions of naira per year in the 1960s. Link to article would also be shared. Another contributing factor to insecurity in the southeast region is the constant barrage of militant groups like Boko Haram, who are often called Fulani herdsmen for whatever reasons. These militants have attacked and killed villagers and farmers along the border between Enugu and Benue states and other places in Igbo land where they have been known to set out hideouts. In the early days of this insurgence, calls for protection by civilians living in the region were ignored at both the federal and state levels. On noticing that their plight fell on deaf ears, vigilante groups were formed by volunteer civilians, only for many to have been quickly dismantled by the same entities that they had laid their complaints to, and they refused to listen to them. With these concurrent issues, Nnamdi Kanu formed Eastern Security Network, ESN, to combat these insecurities, as he expressed in his routine podcast. ESN was formed especially to fight the insurgents that had been terrorizing Igbo land and did it effectively till he had been kidnapped and imprisoned. Now I understand that many are pointing accusing fingers to this group for the increased insecurity because of Igbos are the ones killing themselves. But that is a very wrong narrative. Rather, it is a lie from the pit of hell. Now, with the advent of ESN, the political elite who had been benefiting from these previously mentioned atrocities sought the arrest of other high-ranking ESN members in order to suppress not only their agitation for a sovereign Biafran state, but to also stop them from dismantling and hurting their crime spree. These accusations can be backed with recorded phone calls, text messages, and secret voice recordings. In addition to seeking the arrest of ESM members, some political elites compensated a few high-ranking members so that they would abandon their plight for freedom or commit said crimes under the guise of ESN, as Nnamdi Kanu had been detained in June of 2021. IPOB instituted a sit-at-home order as a form of protest for his immediate release. It wasn't until this period, at least by verifiable evidence, that many started claiming that IPOB, ESN, or Simon EKPA had been committing crimes in the region. One of the very first claims came from Punch newspaper and many other mainstream media outlets, as it had been reported that some ESN members had killed and burned alive several Easterners for disobeying the sit-at-home order issued. Moving forward, many videos circulated online and voices of ESN members could be heard in the background extolling their heinous acts. The news took off like wildfire, and it seemed as though everyone had forgotten of the atrocities that happened in the southeast region prior to the formation of ESN or groups alike. Although I understand that a lot of disgruntled Igbo youths who might have been shortchanged by life circumstances have committed crimes in the name of freedom fighting, it is imperative to note that this is not the crux of the movement nor the goal it had been set out to achieve. Another group, Biafra Liberation Army, which Simon EKPA had formed as information came to him on how politicians had compromised Eastern Security Network, was established to continue the good fight that Nnamdi Kanu has solely intended. The truth is, the Southeast is under siege, and to suggest that Simon EKPA, IPOB, or any other freedom fighting group is solely behind it, it is a disservice to reason and all intellect. These statements show a lack of awareness and the history behind these nefarious activities. Social media won't allow for a lengthy dissection of this problem, but I will try as much as I can to expose the inner working behind the insecurity in the southeastern part of the country. In all of this, it is quite noticeable that the average Nigerian is likely to attribute the insecurity in the East to freedom-fighting groups that were formed to defend their region, than to hold any politician, security operative, or Boko Haram accountable for their larger share in the chaos. I am led to not only assume that they lean towards these sentiments not only because of media propaganda, but because of most people are capable of some form of a critical reasoning, no matter how small. But the age-long Igbophobic sentiment shared by the average Nigerian citizens, it is as though they feel better to accuse Igbos of destabilizing their own region. After all, they also accused Igbos of being behind the nationwide NSAS protest, even when it was obvious that every region participated, than to hold accountable any other people or persons, even when these same causes or atrocities are also present in their own region, even to a greater degree. A large portion of Borno, Niger, and Katsina have been in control by Boko Haram, who constantly attack and kill innocent civilians and extort individuals and businesses. In the same time span, say maybe 2021 down to 2024, Boko Haram had killed 80,000 to 130,000 people in the northern Nigeria, a number significantly higher than insecurity-related deaths in the southeast by almost 15 times. The news and average Nigerian does not dare peddle the idea that northerners are killing themselves. And they hear them, but in the southeast, they are the one that is destabilizing their own. What a word. Oh, that means the northerners are not the one in their area. That means that foreigners are the ones killing them. And Master Nnamdi Kanu said it, that they will be busy looking for Biafrans to kill, while the foreigners are busy taking over their lands. It is happening today. Some have used this propaganda to fight against an Igbo presidency, as many called P2B in the 2023 elections an IPOB member who had no business running for the office of the presidency, even when it is obvious that IPOB and other freedom-fighting groups in the southeast region do not want any form of political participation in the affairs of the Nigeria as they seek secession, sorry to say. I am led to assume that these are some of the reasons behind the sentiments as observed through social media, with repeated phrases and comments emanating from certain groups across Nigeria. It is quite appalling that many living in the southeast are also more invested in fighting these freedom-fighting groups more than they are keen on fighting all other sources of insecurity that has long plagued their region, even period to ESN and groups alike emerged. That is it. Igbo na-eme anyị na-eme onwe anyị. Moving forward, I call on all well-meaning Igbo people to firstly seek for immediate resolution to insecurity by having more in-depth conversations regarding this issue than just merely engaging in spreading misinformation or blaming one group or person, even if Simon Ekpa's Biafra Liberation Army and IPOB's Eastern Security Network were not in the picture. Kidnappings, police brutality, and herdsmen attacks will be even more prevalent. Your security operatives are also not intent on solving crimes, and they are heavy contributors and benefactors of insecurity in the region. It is time for Igbos to wake up and fight their common enemies. These and other informations is what we brought to us this point in time, and we would like you to do what? We would like you to take almost all the whole of your time to watch this to listen to this message, and make sure you did not call it a bluff, or maybe you just said let me bypass. Don't skip this video. It is very, very important and necessary that you watch it, you like it, you comment on it, and make sure you keep subscribing, because more of these videos will be coming your way on daily basis. My name is Siriman Amandia News, reporting from the platform of Okute Daily Talk. We will be right back. Kemesiano.